Hi everyone, welcome to some late night crafting. Um, it's been a busy couple of weeks. I went on a wonderful vacation with my fiance and his two best friends, celebrating her 40th birthday. And it was amazing. We went to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. And this weekend, I am leaving for Florida. So it's been really, really great summer. Spending a lot of time with the family, doing a lot of traveling for work. So I am a little bit behind on some of my design team work, but I pulled out some of the Christmas product that I have, and I thought, you know what, let me catch up. Everybody's in bed right now, and do some Christmas cards, right? So sometimes you gotta craft when you can find time, and that might mean when everybody's in bed. That's okay. All right. So I just used the trimmer. Love this trimmer. One of my favorite trimmers from Spellbinders. And I've cut up some Spellbinders watercolor cardstock. Okay, so I've cut that down to 5.5 by 4.25. I really only need one piece of that. And I'm not doing anything you haven't seen me do before. Paper back in there. Okay. I'm going to stamp and color this house mouse stamps called Unwrapping Memories. And that says Muzzy and Mud Pie. And since they're doing some coloring, painting, I think I'd do some watercoloring, okay? So it's cute stamp set. There you can see them painting, coloring, and then the sentiments say Happy Holidays, Unwrapping Memories, one ornament at a time, and Home for the Holidays, right? High quality red rubber cling stamps. I'm going to use my Misty. I've taken the foam out. And I'm going to stamp. This paper has a textured side and a smooth side. So I am going to be stamping on the smooth side. And I'm going to be using my archival ink. I haven't used my archival ink in a while, but I want this to be pretty quick. So I'm going to put this down in the corner. I will be cutting this panel down and mounting it on a matte piece to frame it. So we're going to put this all the way down in the left corner. And I have to ink that up a couple of times. I'm sure my ink pad is probably pretty dry. I need a handle. The handle is from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. If you've never heard of them or seen them, they're a great little independent company, but you can purchase the handle at Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. Oh yeah, it's a dry ink pad. It's going to take a couple of stampings here. Okay, I think one more should do it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Come on. It doesn't want to come out of the Misty. There we go. All right, so I'm going to be using Spellbinder's watercolor brushes, some paper towel, and then I'm going to be using my watercolor markers. Today I have the Zig markers, and I did have my heat gun out. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. Okay, just want to make sure that my ink is nice and dry before we move on here. Now, normally I color on my glass mat and then move that ink over. I'm going to try to go direct to paper here today. Let's see how I do. Just pulling out some greens here. Of course, the one I want is the one at the very bottom. That's how it works, right? Pulling out some grays and browns. Okay. I think I have most of the colors that I want. All right. So I'm going to start with the tree branches. I'm going to grab my fine watercolor brush here. And I'm going to pre-wet a little bit here. Just so that area is not completely dry. And then the color I'm going in with is olive green. Not being super neat or precise, just laying down the color. And yeah, it moves pretty nicely. And I like these Zig markers because they have a fine point. So it's easy to get in and do some of the detailed work. that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Now they are also sitting on some pine needles, so a little bit of color down here. I'm going to mix in a little bit of regular green. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, let's move on to our little ornament up here. And I've said this a million times about house mouse stamps. They have all the shadows and everything already in place. So you don't need to worry too much about highlights and shadows. And it just makes it easy to color these stamps. And that was carmine red, lemon yellow, and this is just blue. Now, some of these are pretty detailed, so I probably won't go in too much with the watercolor brush because I don't want it to run the colors together. I'll just leave them be. Okay, we have blush, which I'm going to do inside their ears, a little bit on the nose, tail, feet, hands. Okay, then we want a light gray. This is warm gray. And I have two of those. Oh, warm gray. Okay, this one's light gray. This one is cool gray. Really not going to make much of a difference because they're so small. Thought I had a medium gray. I'll just use the light gray to color the jar lids. This is regular orange. And I think that does it. We just need to stamp our sentiment and mount this. This is just a light blue, just going in and doing the jars. Okay, that's enough for coloring for me. All right, I'm going to cut this down and I'm going to mount it on some Spellbinders pop-up die cutting glitter foam sheets. I like this because I have a ton of it. This is 10 sheets and you get 6 red and 4 green. And we're going to use that as our matte layer. So it'll give us some dimension. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down to 5.5 by 4.25. Flip that over so it cuts all the way through. Okay, piece of that. And we're going to cut this down to, oh, I think we'll do 5 by 3.75. This is just some heavyweight cardstock for the base. Cut in half at 5.5 and scored at 4.25. And now we just put everything together. And I want to stamp a sentiment. Okay, there we go. Just clean that up. And because this is watercolor paper, I'm going to use some liquid glue to hold this down. And we're sticking it on glitter. Sometimes we need that little bit extra. Okay, and there is my card. So thank you guys for watching. Again, this is the House Mouse Unwrapping Memories stamps. There is my finished card. If you had fun watching me make this, please give me a thumbs up. If you're interested in purchasing the stamp or any of the supplies I used, I will have everything linked down below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.